I just came across a small leftist podcast, so I'm talking to them now, see if they've got any tips or anything. I'm going to listen to one of their podcasts later. Maybe down the road we can do like some collab memes. We'll see.
What are they called?
They're called Juno Beach, the Shit Tier Podcast.
Okay. Odd name, but okay. So, on People of Hope, why do you think that they're a cult? Well, do you think that they're a cult? Wait.
You there, buddy?
Oh, fuck me. Push to talk isn't working, right? Okay. Do you think that People of Hope are a cult?
Sorry?
Do you think that People of Hope are a cult?
Oh, I don't know about People of Hope.
Wait, but that's the thing that Amy Coney Barrett is part of.
People of Praise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It might be. Let's find out.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just answering these guys in text right now. Just 1 second. Also, if you're interested in checking out our podcast, your Twitter account follows me. Feedback from another leftist podcast would be super appreciated. I think that's a good meme. What do you think? Do you think I worded that epically?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go over this. I've got the bite model thing up. So like the first section would be behavior control.
Yeah.
So number one, regulate individuals' physical reality. They make a lifelong pledge to the organization and living in their community spaces. So I would say that would qualify as regulating individuals' physical reality, because once they've joined, they've pledged never to leave.
Sure, but like there are levels to this. So like,
there are levels to this.
yes,
Sure.
yes. So like this isn't the same kind of control over your physical reality as things like, oh hey, if you leave, we will kill you or something. That's much different than this. What happens
it
if
does
you
seem like
leave People of Praise?
It seems like they shun you. They shun you and they talk bad about you. That's what it seems like.
Okay.
At least that's like what the one girl who left said that happened to her. I don't have like a bunch of examples of people who have left and what's happened to them, but like in that case, it seems like that's like what the consequences of leaving are, which is pretty bad. It's a pretty big incentive, especially when like this becomes like your community and the people that you live with. Everyone shuns you when you leave. It's like the Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say that would be like a kind of high on that, but not like super high.
Yeah. So like maybe like a 7 out of 10 or something like that.
Oh wait, have all the people that left been women?
I only found the one case of someone leaving. Okay, let's see. Ex People of Praise members. So there's a Guardian article. ex-members of Amy Coney Barrett's faith group tell of trauma and sexual abuse. In the higher law firm. Two people familiar with the matter say that more than 24 former members of the faith group, many of whom say they felt quote-unquote triggered by Barrett's nomination, are participating in a support group to discuss how the faith group affected their lives. It doesn't say if they're women or
not. Because considering how strict they are with their gender stuff, I would assume that they would be a bit more lenient on men if they leave.
Possibly. So Sarah Cool is the one they're talking about. Quinn Emanuel's. Reading through this quickly. Yeah, the only examples that I'm finding are of women.
Okay, so you can't say if they treat the men better than that.
No, but even if it was just women, that'd be pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Ex-members of religious group mixed on Barrett's nomination by Stark Tribune. This. Rachel. People who joined the community must sign a covenant in which they pledge love and service to fellow community members and to God. Members agree to give at least 5% of their income to the community, according to the website.
Okay, so according to the wiki, its current membership is 1,700 people, but in the 80s it had around 3,000 members, so yeah, quite a bit have left. At least one of those has to be a man.
Oh yeah, like the one male ex-member that this quotes.
Ooh, what did they say?
Says, yeah, no, he was really happy about the nomination, actually. Oh, Jesus. The group stays away from politics, he said, except in one area, abortion. Quote unquote, they think it's a heinous crime akin to infanticide, Auschwitz, Radosovich said. Okay, so she's in a group that thinks that that abortion is as bad as the Holocaust. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, let's go to the second point. Dictate where, how, and with whom the member lives and associates or isolates. I think that one would be very high.
Yes, but again, for women, I don't know about for men.
Oh no,
because
but like for men as well. Oh, in that case, in this instance, it would be for men as well, because once men have signed the covenant, like they have to live in like this, in this community, unless they leave.
Wait. So like, do they control? Because if it's just like, oh hey, you can't leave this community, as in you can't leave the group, that would be some amount of control over where they are, and at what times. But But can they control where within the community they are?
Oh, yeah, I think they can. But it's still like within like a commune. So, maybe like high but not very high. I don't know. So it'd probably be very high for women and high for men because like they still are forced to live like within this sort of isolated community.
Oh, sure, yeah. But like with women, it's basically it would be basically like incredibly high, considering that the men could dictate,
Yeah.
oh hey, where are you going? And you can't go to this place unless I tell you to.
Oh yeah, like that one woman that left and did the interview with Democracy Now. Said that one time they were supposed to go shopping and she went home because she was feeling sick. And then her husband showed up at home, dragged her into the car, and took her to the cult leader's house. And then, like as a punishment, she was made to sit outside in the hallway during the group's meetings.
Interesting.
Point number three: when, how, and with whom the member has sex. Um,
Oh, well,
I assume this would
women
be.
can't
I,
refuse.
yeah, women can't refuse, and also, I believe that they're extremely against sex outside of marriage, which
Yes.
I suppose would apply to
And
men as well.
yeah, and also sex for pleasure. So like you can only have sex for reproduction.
Yeah,
So that would already be like kind of medium. But then women can't refuse. So like in a lot of these, it's going to be very offset. Unless it's something like that applies to members without any mention of gender, then it's probably worse for women.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely worse for women. Um, so like if all of these are like really bad for women and don't apply at all to men, would we be able to call it a cult or not?
Um, we.
I think we could because like if we took it to like a hypothetical extreme, like imagine there was a group of like 12 men who are like buddies and they're all like friends and then they like kidnap like or like not kidnapped but like
Hold on.
manipulated like a group of women into doing whatever they tell them to do. I think we would consider something like that to be a cult. Like
Hmm.
even if all the men had rights, if the women were like forced to do whatever the men told them to, then we would probably still call that a cult.
Oh, I would say that that's a cult for women, but not for men. Yeah.
No, I think we would say that it was a cult, and it just so happens that men are like the ones in like privileged positions within the cult. So like they'd be
Mm,
like the men would be like the cult leaders.
wait, but like if half of the population of this group isn't like they don't have the same signs of a cult as the other half, then we could say, oh, okay, so this half isn't really involved in a cult. The way that they're interacting with this group isn't in a manner in which it would be considered a cult,
Oh,
but the other
I
half
mean, it
is.
would be because they would be exercising the will of the cult on other people. So they would be like enforcers for the cult.
Mm, sure, but like they don't subject themselves to any like
Yeah, so they wouldn't
rules.
be victims of the cult, but they would be part of the cult-like hierarchy.
Um, no, I wouldn't call this like a full-on cult. No, I would just call this like a
Okay,
a kidnapping
okay,
group.
okay, sure. But let's get back to like the one at hand because it does seem like to some degree, at least, it applies to men. Um, so like we should
Oh,
go
the
over
sex
it
one.
some more. Like, I mean, yeah, yeah, all of these, right?
The se
So
yeah,
far.
these. all the ones so far apply to men, but to a much different degree than how
Yeah.
they apply to women.
Yeah. So number 4, control types of clothing and hairstyles.
I would
I
assume
don't
that
know
they do like
about
the
this.
normal Christian memes of like, oh hey, don't be slutty or
Yeah.
something. Which that's just low, like pretty low on that.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything in this. Description. Do covenant. Therefore, we covenant ourselves to live our lives together in Christ our Lord. By the power of his script, we agree to be a basic Christian community, to find within our fellowship the essential core of our life in the Spirit, in worship and the sacraments, spiritual and moral guidance, service, and apostolic activity. We accept the order of this community, which the Lord is establishing with all the ministry of gifts of the Holy Spirit, especially with the foundational ministry gifts of apostles, pastors, prophets, teachers, and evangelists. We agree to obey the direction of the Holy Spirit manifested in and through these ministries in full harmony with the Church. We recognize yeah, so I'd imagine it would just be like to a very low degree, because Christian means like they probably don't let the women show cleavage, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably men to like a very tiny degree as well.
Oh yes, I assume that they don't just let them walk naked outside.
Yeah. They probably don't let them wear yarmulkes either, for example.
Yeah.
um
5. Regulate their diet, food and drink, hunger,
oh
and or
actually
fasting.
let me tread back on that one a little bit,
Sure.
because the one woman that got interviewed um said that she was forced to go shopping with her husband and other church members. I don't know if that would have been clothes shopping. It's possible that like the men have like a pretty high degree on what the women wear on a day-to-day basis, and like have like a big say in what clothes they buy. I don't like I couldn't like say that for sure, but it's plausible. But yeah. 5, regulate diet, food and drink, hunger and or fasting.
What is the point?
Probably not to a significant degree. Manipulation and deprivation of sleep. Um,
For each of these ones, we can always just say, "Oh, what if the man tells the woman you can't eat this?"
yeah.
Yeah, so like it's highly offset. Like even if the men barely experience it, the women, it's always going to be very high in all of these.
Yeah. Manipulation and deprivation of sleep. I don't know about that. Financial exploitation, manipulation, or dependence. Absolutely. I'd say that would be pretty high for all of them, for both men and women, because they're supposed to pay an amount of their income, a percentage of their income, and B, the wealthier members of the cult are expected to donate more money. It's even in the covenant, like the covenant that they have to fuck, I lost it. There it is. The covenant that they all have to sign in order to join says, quote, we will serve one another and the community as a whole in all needs, spiritual, material, financial.
Okay, then yeah, probably kind of high, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems as if there's like the community itself controls its members, something like that.
Yeah.
This is socialism.
Yeah. But like not based socialism, the other kind of socialism. 8, restrict leisure, entertainment, vacation time. Oh, for women, definitely. Women aren't allowed to like do what they want. Like in terms of like leisure time, they're like highly controlled, and told what to do at all times. For men, it would probably just apply to a pretty minor degree. They'd probably be like they're probably not allowed to watch porn, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are the normal Christian stuff for all members,
Yeah,
and then we have it like incredibly high for women.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Major time spent with group indoctrination and rituals and/or self-indoctrination, including the internet. This one's probably very high for everyone because not only do they go to church together, they also hold meetings with members that are mandatory, and also they not all together, but they have they have their meals in groups with like other members of the cult as well. Like all of their
Okay.
yeah, they're expected to have like basically all of their meals with other members of the organization.
Yeah, then
Um,
this is probably very high considering how like community oriented this is. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Number
Oh,
10,
I
permission
wonder.
required for major decisions. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I wonder
I just wanted to.
how much higher number 9 would be for women because I would assume that they would require a bit more indoctrination so that they are actually submissive and are okay with everything happening than with men. Because with
Yeah.
men, it's like it's poggers. Look, it's cool. It's very easy to indoctrinate someone if you're giving them power over someone else.
I mean, at the
But
end of the
with
day,
women,
if our conclusion is this is a cult but only for women, then that's good enough because last time I checked, Amy Coney Barrett has a vagina.
oh yeah,
um. So yeah, permission required for major decisions. Yes, probably. Um, you're not allowed to. I mean, you're not allowed to move without permission where you live. Um you're not allowed to go home because you're sick without permission if you're a woman. Um, you're not allowed to join in on the meetings without permission. You're not allowed to live in the community unless you've participated in the organization for at least 6 years and have signed the um, have signed
covenant.
the covenant. Um, so like probably medium to high on number 10 and probably like extremely high for women.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett says that she asks her husband permission for everything.
Oh, I've heard about that. I'm not sure if it's true.
I'll ask Piper, he's the one that said it. Um,
I'll ask him later.
yeah. Um, but either way, probably at least to some degree, if not to a high degree for women. Um, Number 11, rewards and punishments used to modify behaviors, both positive and negative. Oh, definitely for women. Like this is like the main thing that one ex-member was talking about. I don't know how much it would be for men though. Unless you consider like admission into the community as a reward of having participated for 6 years. So probably be medium for men, high for women.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah. Discourage individualism, encourage groupthink. I don't know about that one. Um, they are multi-denominational. Um, Probably just to a minor degree, I guess. 13, imposed rigid rules and regulations. High for women, probably medium for men, because Christian memes. 14, punish disobedience by beating, torture, burning, cutting, rape, or tattooing/branding. Extremely high for women, probably not for men. 15, threaten harm to family and friends.
Oh, have they? Like
I
if the
don't know.
family members that aren't part of this?
I don't know about that.
Okay, so we can put that as an unknown.
Yeah. Force individual to rape or be raped. Extremely high for women because they're not allowed to deny sex to their husbands, and that's rape. Encourage and engage in corporal punishment. Extremely high for women, probably not for men. Instill dependency and obedience. Extremely high for women. Probably medium for men because they're dependent on like the community, right? On like the commune.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, from what I'm reading on this wiki article, they have headships and lay pastors, so like, and men do have heads, so like spiritual leaders, kind of.
Yeah.
So they're probably somewhat dependent on them for like spiritual stuff and like, oh hey, help me make decisions.
Oh, and also they own the house that you live in.
Oh yeah.
Instill dependency and obedience. Number 19, kidnapping. Yes. Number 20, beating. Probably for women. Number 21, torture, depending on what you define as being torture. Extremely high for women. Number 22, rape. Extremely high for women. Number 23, separation of families. If your family members don't live within the organization, then you can't live with them. So probably pretty high. Number 24, imprisonment. If you count house arrest as being imprisonment, then high for women. And finally, number 25 is murder, which would be not as far as I'm aware. So
Let's ask like the 1,000 plus members that left between 87 and now.
yeah. No, I mean there's probably hasn't been any murder associated with this. It'd probably be big news if there was. So overall for like behavior control, I would say extremely high for women and medium to low for men. Do you think that would be fair?
Yes. Yeah. So far it seems kinda culty for one, very culty for the other.
Yeah. Second section is information control. Number 1, deliberately withhold information or distort information to make it more acceptable or systematically lie to the cult member. I don't know about this. So like in the case of the woman that left and did like the piece
Yeah.
with Democracy Now, she was forced to stand in the hallway while they were having meetings. I think that would count as deliberately withholding information.
Yes, that would count as that, yes.
So probably to some degree, at least for women. I don't know beyond that. This is like like the information control stuff is hard to know without having like access to inside information.
Oh, yeah, this group seems fairly secretive.
Yeah. So I mean that would be like that would be like control of information to the outside world.
Oh, sure, but
yeah.
I'm not sure if the person who designed this meant it to be that way. Like, oh hey, you aren't telling us everything about your organization.
Distort information to make it more acceptable. What, like comparing abortion to to genocide? I don't know. Maybe. Like, hey, hey, you guys don't think women have like the right to control their own bodies? Oh, abortion's like genocide.
Okay. Yeah, like that's pretty awful, but that's only like one on one issue. I wonder if they do it broadly on all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we don't know to what degree, but probably to some degree. I think that's like the fairest thing we can say.
Yeah.
Number 2 be minimize or discourage access to non-cult sources of information, including internet, TV, radio, books, articles, newspapers, magazines, media, critical information, former members, keep members busy so they don't have time to think and investigate, control through cell phone with texting, calls, internet tracking. This is probably not to a very high degree. Although they are fairly secretive, but it seems like I don't know. So it seems like they have access to like the outside world, because otherwise, like, there's no way Amy Coney Barrett would be able to become a Supreme Court nominee. Like,
yeah,
you can't be a judge and not have, like, aren't judges like the people that have the most access to critical information?
Yeah. Plus, I would assume that their whole memes of abortion, that they'd have to know that that's like a big issue in the world, in America.
Yeah. Keep members busy so they don't. So they do shun former members. So that would be like the one thing, which is like this letter C. So like that would be like the one section of this. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know, maybe some members have like restricted access to things like outside media. Like, I guess the ones whose husbands decide to treat them worse than the others do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, women.
Yeah. So yeah, that would probably be like minimal, but like still to some degree for
Yes.
number 2. 3, compartmentalize information into outsider versus insider doctrines. A, ensure that information is not freely accessible. B, control information at different levels and missions within group. C, only leadership to decide who needs to know what and when.
So like the head thing, the head leadership thing, it seems as if they're like advisors, but like you can act freely outside of them, so long as you act within like a. Oh wait, let me read it again. Oh fuck, I had it. I hate this. Okay, people of praise members are always free to follow their conscience as formed by the light of reason, experience, and teachings of the church. So
teachings of the church.
Yeah, so that would be the main.
Yeah. So Control information at different levels and missions within the group. Ensure that information is not freely accessible. This would probably apply to a pretty significant degree to women. Like for example, again, like the sit outside the meeting meme.
Yeah.
So we'd probably say like the same as last time, probably to some degree, but not a particularly high one.
Would we consider women to be like at a different level in the group? Like even if the group doesn't officially have them, like they don't say that women are a different level in the group.
Oh, definitely.
They are. Okay.
Yeah, no, they definitely are because they're encouraged to be submissive towards their husbands, which is literally saying these groups of people have like control over this group of people.
Yeah, and would we consider men as part of the leadership, or at least a level in the leadership?
So, like, it would be like the meme that I said before. Like, they would be like the enforcers of the cult's ideology.
Sure. So they aren't part of the leadership, would they?
Not officially, but I guess there'd be like middle managers. Like they're the ones that are in control of like their families.
Okay, so they are kind of they're like the lowest level of leadership,
Yeah.
at least.
So like so like low level managers where you'd expect women to be in real life. Uh,
Um,
um, extensive use of cult-generated information and propaganda, including newsletters, magazines, journals, audio tapes, videotapes, YouTube, movies, and other media. Or B, misquoting statements or using them out of context from non-cult sources.
I don't know.
I mean, there'd be the religious aspect at least.
Oh, sure,
For
but
like
it's
the
like very low.
yeah.
Unethical use of confessions. Uh, huh. Manipulation of memory, possible false memories. Goddamn.
That would be
I'd
that
be
would be like really
interested.
high level. Those would be like for really high level cults, right?
Yeah.
Like remember like the last meme for like the first section was behavior control was murder. So I think these generally go from like more common to like more extreme. That's what it seems like at least.
Kinda, yeah. Okay, so overall in information control, like
Yeah, like
low
I'd probably give it
medium.
like a medium grade.
Not too much, really. Except
Yeah.
sometimes for women. Sometimes, though. Better than the behavior control, I guess.
Yeah. So the third segment would be thought control. Number one, require members to internalize the group's doctrine as truth. Adopting the group's quote-unquote map of reality as reality. Instill black and white thinking.
Oh, yes.
Decide between good and evil. Organize people into us versus them.
Oh, yes.
I would say this would be a pretty high degree, yeah.
Yes. I'd say that,
I'd
like...
say that this would be like a high degree in like most religions, though.
I'm not sure in most religions, but definitely on Abrahamic religions.
Sure. Yeah. Most major world religions, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the Abrahamic religions plus a couple.
Yeah, so like Hinduism, like to a degree, probably even Buddhism to a degree. At least outside of China.
But like, do they in like Buddhism and Hinduism? Do they do memes of like, oh hey, everyone who isn't a Buddhist or a Hindu, they're all evil?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, but not always. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, The Hindus are genociding Muslims in India, and the Burmese are genociding Muslims in Myanmar, which would be Buddhists. So, yeah, to some degree, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say this to a pretty high degree within like a fundamentalist Christian organization.
Yeah.
Change person's name and
I
identity.
don't think they've done that.
I don't think they've done that either.
Yeah.
Unless by identity you mean something a bit broader.
Well, I guess like the men could theoretically do it to women, but that I don't know if that's happened yet.
Yeah, if it hasn't happened, then I don't think we can really
Yeah.
count it.
Use of
So
loaded language and cliches which constrict knowledge, stop critical thoughts, and reduce complexities into platitudinous buzzwords.
you
So
mean
they do
like
it with
comparing
abortion.
to genocide?
Yeah. So, mm. So like in my experience, Christian groups, they usually do this with almost
Yeah.
all issues. But I'm not sure if they enforce it actively. Like if you were to try to introduce some nuance into it, like stop using the loaded language. I'm not sure if they would go against you.
Yeah.
So I would just put this at like medium.
Amy Coney Barrett did apologize for calling homosexuality a sexual preference. Probably because of like political pressure, but still.
Yeah. Encourage only good and proper thoughts.
Good and proper thoughts. I mean, almost certainly.
Yes,
for this one.
It's a Christian organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, virtue ethicist memes. Or even deontologist memes. I don't know.
Hypnotic techniques are used to alter mental states, undermine critical thinking, and even to age regress the member. I don't think they've done that.
No. Memories are manipulated and false memories are created. I don't think they've done that either. Teaching thought-stopping techniques which shut down reality testing by stopping negative thoughts and allowing only positive thoughts, including denial, rationalization, justification, wishful thinking, chanting, meditation, praying, speaking in tongues, singing or humming.
So speaking like in tongues. Yeah.
Yeah, and praying.
Yeah. I don't know about meditating or chanting. Singing or humming, maybe, but don't know.
So like, yeah, like probably like gospel memes, right?
No, not gospel memes, but Pentecostal memes. So like they kind of spawned off of like a Pentecostal movement, I think, from what I remember. Yeah, so they're gonna have that whole speaking in tongues thing.
Yeah.
So like to a low degree, they have 7.
Yeah. Number 8, rejection of rational analysis, critical thinking, and constructive criticism. Probably again to like a small degree. Forbid critical questions about leader, doctrine, or policy allowed.
It's likely that this applies to women, considering that I would assume that that men wouldn't allow women to like question them without them allowing it, which would be pretty unlikely for them to actually allow it.
Yeah, labeling alternative belief systems as illegitimate, evil, or not useful, almost certainly for like other religious people, for like or like non-religious people, they would almost certainly label alternative belief systems as illegitimate, evil, or not useful. Probably to a pretty high degree. And number 11, instill new quote-unquote map of reality. That's pretty vague. I don't know what that means exactly.
I would assume like a view of how reality functions and what reality is. So like there's the normal God stuff, so that would be like a neo map of reality,
Yeah.
but like Catholics also have that. Every single religion really has that. So it has it to the same degree that that all religions have it.
Sure.
So meh.
So for like thought control overall, probably something similar to information control, medium
Oh,
to high
much
for women,
lower.
probably pretty. Oh, for to information control?
Yes. Like when compared to information control, thought control is so much lower.
Right, because behavior control was like the high one.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
OPOG, emotion control.
Emotional control.
Hell yeah. Let's get abusing women yet again.
True. Manipulate and narrow the range of feelings. Some emotions and or needs are deemed as evil, wrong, or selfish. That would be to a pretty high degree. Like anything that I would consider to be sin, um, would manipulate and consider to be evil, wrong, or selfish, or like not wanting to have sex, for example, evil, wrong, or selfish. Abortion, evil, wrong, or selfish. Um, that's quite a broad religious thing, but I think it would apply here to quite a significant degree.
Yeah, it's probably like you said, yeah.
Okay. Teach emotion stopping techniques to block feelings of homesickness, anger, or doubt.
Don't know.
Don't know. Make the person feel that problems are always their own fault, never the leader's or the group's fault. Definitely for women, probably not very much for men. Promote feelings of guilt or unworthiness, such as identity guilt, you're not living up to your potential, your family is deficient, your past is suspect, your affiliations are unwise, your thoughts, feelings, actions are irrelevant or selfish, social guilt or historical guilt. A lot of these would apply to women, such as social guilt and thoughts, feelings, and actions being irrelevant or selfish, and uh, to some degree affiliations as well. Do you have any thoughts?
Not really. This one's just been like, yep. Women have it worse, yeah.
Yeah. Instill fear, such as fear of thinking independently, the outside world, enemies, losing one's salvation, leaving or being shunned by the group, others' disapproval, or historical guilt. Extremely high for women. Probably not much for men. Other than like
Okay, then
basic
we
leaving,
can like just fast
except for
track
like
this one and say bad for women, not barely registerable for men.
so for this one, there would be the memes of fear of losing one's salvation because it's a Christian group.
Oh yeah.
Probably enemies to some degree. Um, Muslims memes, atheists memes, and apostates memes, and and uh, pro-life, pro-choicers memes, um, and also leaving or being shunned by the group. So obviously, like even if you're a man, like you live in this
Oh
community,
yeah.
you've made like a lifelong pledge, and yeah. So I would say that even like a medium-ish for men, obviously like really high for women, but I would say medium-ish for men. There are quite a few things here that would to some degree apply to men.
Yeah. So, is there anything else?
Extreme,
That's the end.
yeah. So numbers, yeah. So number
Okay.
six, extremes of emotional highs and lows.
Then overall, with emotion
Which
control,
sometimes.
it would be like medium to low for men, and kind of high for women.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall it seems just like high for women.
Yeah. Overall, it seems high for women and
medium for men.
Low. Yeah, medium low for men.
Yeah, so this is a cult for women.
This is a
Where
cult.
men
This is a
control
cult.
them.
Yeah. This is a cult for women, and so would we claim that Amy Coney Barrett is in a cult? I would say yes.
Oh yes, unless she's transitioning.
Unless, oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure transgender men wouldn't have it very good in their cult either.
Maybe they're progressive.
Yeah, I highly doubt that, considering the fact that they're Catholics, or a lot of them are Catholics. Okay. So